Your thoughts on Brad Treliving, the new GM here?
Yeah, it kind of seems like the rumor mill never really wavered too far off of Brad Treliving, and ultimately they went with him. I'm sure he's a good fit, a guy, Western Canadian guy, has played some rugged hockey as a rugged defenseman, been involved in the game for a long time. So be interesting to see him get his fingerprints on this team. And to be honest with you, the biggest thing I'm looking for is to see what kind of moves he makes out of the gate before July 1. Does he do anything with the core four? What does he do with Sheldon Keefe? I think they were talking about, when he took over for the Flames, I believe it was maybe Bob Hartley who was there, and he kept him around for a couple of years. And people are saying that could be indicative of what he would do with Sheldon Keefe. But again, nobody knows, and I'm just excited to see what he does, what he gets going. I think his press conference is probably going right now, so
Yeah.
be interesting to see if anything of value comes out of that, or if it's status quo as far as a standard welcoming press conference. But again, just looking forward to seeing what kind of moves he makes and if he shakes things up a little bit.
I like this quote right away. Brad Treliving, it's the Leafs. It means something. I love the passion right there. The passion's already instilled in Brad
Yeah.
Treliving. He is bang on. And from all sounds, it sounds like, Sheldon Keefe's going to stay in the mix for the time being, I think, which makes a lot of sense. Obviously, it sounded like Brendan Shanahan was a big backer of him. But my one question out of all this, like, what's the first order of business? Because we've been talking at nauseum, Rosie, the last couple weeks, how many different jobs ahead now for the new GM. So, a new GM's in place. We sit here on June 1st. Free agency is a month away now. The first order of business for me would be getting on that PJ, that private jet, the MLEC jet, and visiting Austin Matthews, right?
Yeah, you'd think so. I think he's just going to want to meet these guys and get to know them and have that that relationship kind of established would probably be his first order of business, and seeing where everybody's at, and then laying that groundwork and foundation, and then from there trying to figure out what you can actually get done. And just to back it up to like the end of the season and the disappointment that it was, my question is, well, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to change? Are we just going to keep the same goddamn team and roll into the season next year? Because we've kind of established that this team doesn't have enough to be a playoff performer. So what are you going to do differently is my big question. And whether you get guys signed up and everything, okay, great. But what's going to be different come October?
Yeah, that's the thing for me too. Like, what is Brad Treliving going to do that is a bit different than maybe what Kyle Dubas did? But again, everything starts with your big boy, your head honcho, Austin Matthews. I think once you know the answer to that, what it's going to take to bring back Matthews long term, then I think everything else falls in place. Because that's the intriguing thing again for me, Rosie, is how much there is to do in a short period of time, right? Over the next what we'll say 6 weeks here.
Well, they are kind of under the gun, like you say. It's June 1st. They got a month before no trade clauses kick in, and all kinds of stuff start to play effect. So he is on the clock, and I imagine he'll want to again establish that relationship, see where everyone's at, see where Austin Matthews heads at, and what it takes to do things with him. And okay, say you sign Austin Matthews, okay, and then you say everything else falls into place. Like, what does that mean? The core four is together. You don't really make any changes. The draft isn't going to be crucial for them this year with a 28th pick or something like that. So, are we just going to go into October, running it back exactly the way it was? Because I'd like to see him maybe say, I know what's wrong with this team and here's how I'm going to fix it. That'd be neat to see, him say, I think this team needs to be better in the playoffs, and here's what I plan to do about it. But again, time will tell.